EPA and WA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for January 28th, 2021. I promise not to make this video quite as long as it was yesterday. I want to go through a lot of things, kind of give you the setup and all the things involved with our potential storm early next week. But I will cover that here in today's video, but just to give you a little bit of updates with that as far as modeling is concerned. So if you didn't see that video yesterday, I invite you to go back and take a look at that because it was very informative, and it's kind of like I do the Weather Weeklies videos where I give a lot of hows and whys breakdowns of exactly what we're dealing with. Today, we have a little bit more of agreement today, but that doesn't mean necessarily we're going to get hit really hard by a winter storm early next week. The chances are increasing. Probability is going up. So we have about a 60% chance now that we have a storm, whether that's a big storm or small storm, we'll see. And for whom, okay? So this is starting off with today. We do have a trough settling into the region, and it will be colder today, becoming partly cloudy. Any morning clouds further south will dissipate, and then we'll have partly cloudy skies returning in its place, and then we'll have windy conditions, or at least breezy conditions today. I don't think really too windy yet, but we will get windy conditions on Friday. This system here is pulling away, and it brought a little bit of snow over to the Virginia and Carolina region. This was something we were watching to maybe see if it scraped past our southern areas here, and it did not. So it will continue off to our south and east and take off to our east here. The coldest day of the next couple is going to be here on Friday. Now today, many areas will stay at or below freezing. On Friday, we'll be in the 20s, and you'll have windier conditions. It's going to be a brutally cold day on Saturday, or excuse me, on Friday, because it's going to be so windy too. Today we can expect some, breezy conditions, excuse me, some breezy conditions and some wind gusts that are generally in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range occasionally. When we get to Friday, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll have the core of that trough coming in, temperatures in the middle 20s, overnight lows in the single digits and teens. And we're going to have some wind gusts that are going to be 35 to 40 miles per hour. Some occasional gusts that get in the elevation areas anyway, up to 45 miles per hour. That's during the day on Friday. I think it starts to lessen a little bit. Once we get past like maybe early to mid-afternoon, we start to diminish a little bit. But it's going to be a windy and very cold day here on Friday. Saturday's still cold, but not quite as cold. We're getting up in the upper 20s maybe here on Saturday. Still very cold, though, and mostly sunny. The winds are going to subside, so it's going to feel a lot warmer compared to Friday if you're outside both of those days. And then we turn our attention to the next storm coming in, and this is our winter storm possibility for early next week. Now the timing is definitely completely different depending on whether you're looking at the GFS, the Canadian model, the European model. There's vast timing differences with this, and there's evolution differences. Once you get to this point, they're pretty much similar here. They agree up to this point. After that, they kind of diverge a little bit. And the GFS is much faster bringing this precipitation in here during the day on Sunday, actually early on Sunday. And it brings snow to the region, has a primary going into the Ohio Valley that redevelops off the coast here, and then that one takes over as the primary, as you can see here. So you get some wraparound snow that will continue and continue and continue. This goes Sunday night. Might even be some mixing while this transfer is taking place, but then any mixing goes back over to snow, and this just kind of sits and spins and rotates around that area of low pressure offshore. This goes well into Monday and Monday night, and maybe pulling away Tuesday morning. This is an elongated thing here on the GFS. Okay, so it's a prolonged event that gives you a decent amount of snowfall that adds up over that period of time. As you get over to the European model, however, again, they diverge when they come out in this region. You have one primary redeveloping to a coastal a little bit further south this time, though. So initially, the snow that comes in on Sunday, late Sunday evening, is down here in the Baltimore, Washington area. And then as this low starts moving up the coast a little bit, you get what's called a cold conveyor belt, was what the European model suggested, where you get this corridor here of snow wrapping around that area of low pressure offshore. Okay, so that's what's going on the European model. And because it comes in later, this lasts longer. This goes well into Tuesday here. Okay, this is Tuesday during the day on Tuesday, and you're getting some your bulkier snow here Monday night and Tuesday. So it's a little bit different with timing here, quite a bit different. So we have to narrow down the timing between these two, but they both have a the end result is not too dissimilar. If you want to look at snow maps, they're not too dissimilar with the snow maps, but the way they get there are a little bit different. Actually, a lot different, and timing is a lot different. But one of the things we like to look at this range when there's disagreement is the probability maps. These is the probability of snowfall greater than or equal to 6 inches, and there is a corridor in here of pretty high confidence. If you kind of go in here, this is 50% or greater in between there of 6 inches or greater. That's a pretty telling signal, because the European ensembles are 50 individual runs that are merged together. So this is pretty telling. Okay, this doesn't mean exactly this is going to happen this way, but this is pretty telling. There's going to be a decent amount of snow in this region, and anything over 6 inches is significant. Will it be something that could produce over a foot? It could, but we're not there yet. Okay, so we have to give us a couple days to see how this evolves. And this is one of the things we look at. I posted this on Twitter. I actually went through this in a video yesterday. Look at all these different, I labeled them 1 through 6 here. There's a lot of pieces here, a lot of moving parts that are making up this eventual storm, and how it evolves is going to be predicated on so many different things happening. So many different things. Ridging into Alaska, a lobe coming down here that was forced out of the EPO regions down to Vancouver or just off the Washington coastline here. A ridge building into the plains ahead of this. It gives a big amplification in the jet. Here's our storm right here. There's a negative NAO or blocking over the top, but not as strong because of this feature, which means you have a decaying NAO. Okay, so there's some things going into this, and all of these pieces are critically important to what the eventuality of this system is. So we have several days to look at this. I don't want to latch on any ideas just yet, but I do think I'm getting more confident that a storm is coming. Whether that's going to be something that is pushed a little bit further south because the blocking's too strong and we get less, that's possible. Or is it something that really winds up and crushes some people here? That's possible too. So you have both extremes are on the table yet. So this is something we're going to narrow down over the next couple of days. We're not quite there yet. We do know that it's going to be cold during this period, and there's going to be, the good thing with this system here is it's going to be really cold the next couple of days. You're going to have antecedent cold in place prior to the system arriving, and you have high pressure over the top of it. Okay, so you have a cold air feed, a cold air source. That's half the battle. So once we get that the precipitation moving into that, you get this snow. How long does this last? Don't know. It could be something that lasts more than 24 hours. That's possible. We'll narrow all this stuff down as we get a little bit closer throughout the week. But it does look like this eventually pulls out Tuesday. It might be Tuesday morning, or if the European model is correct with the slower evolution, it might be later on Tuesday. It's probably somewhere in the middle there. The GFS is probably a little bit too progressive with it. European model is a little bit too slow with it. You meet somewhere in the middle. That's probably your solution. And then we're back to partly cloudy, partly to mostly sunny skies here on Wednesday, with more seasonable conditions near average for this time of year. So that's what we're looking at, folks. So this is the latest and greatest information I have. I wanted to keep this shorter than yesterday, not go to 11 minutes or whatever it was yesterday. So I'm going to cut this short here. Continue to follow us throughout the week, and we'll give you updates as we have new information become available. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for January 28th, 2021. Have a great Thursday.